All right, it is I, WJ Warrior Jr. here for another fun-filled, educational. Is that fun-filled? I don't really know. Fun-filled. I guess to me it is, but this is my own educational journal journey that I love to. It's good to leave something behind. When your age starts adding up. I'd like to be around for a while, but a friend of mine, Pete, told me every day you're alive after 50. He said, thank your lucky stars. My God, I'm not far from there. So, but, I know what he was implying. I wasn't, it's like a salad bar, whatever. You got, or a funnel. You got to take out whatever, take what you think is good and then just discard everything else. Some people recommend, as far as advice, taking a little bit from everybody. Yeah, it's good. Whatever works for you. I guess the idea would be to have that open mind, in a way that could not be damaging to you. A lot of people they're just afraid of things. Me too. Look, I'm not perfect. Things bothered me. I had this friend that he's 10 years older than me, and he goes, WJ, man, if I get another 20 years, I was like, dude, you're looking at the end already instead of, he's talking about making sure that he has a place to be buried. Like, dude, focus on living. Don't worry about the inevitable. I know, it's inevitable is inevitable, but you want to like enjoy life, build a life while you're still here. Don't worry about it. When you're gone, whatever. You don't worry when you're dead anyway. Boy, I'll tell you, it does add up. It does add up fast. And there ain't no going back. Just it really goes forward. And well, I thought about that today, and I went to the gym in the afternoon. I did did shoulders, and I usually combine two body parts, to major area. Well, it depends. I break down the areas as follows. Um, I will train all these areas, separately. Um, how do I say this? There's a lot to say. I remember a friend asked me one time, he goes, "What do you do for arms?" And I was like, what kind of question is this? What part of the arm, and what do you mean? Because, dude, I do so many exercises that are for like, pull-ups or whatever, chin-ups, and you're using your arms to pull up. So, you're getting secondary, or maybe primary muscle doing it. So uh, you got to be very, very specific in what you mean, like what you're talking about. He just doesn't, he's a good guy, but he's a little, he doesn't know. He's has a lot of back issues, lower back probably bothering him. I said, how come you never trained your lower back? All these years you're going to the gym and doing bicep exercise. Like, what are you doing? The bicep is a small muscle. There's no real, it gets work out of all these other exercises. You should be doing all these other compound movements, but his fear. We're talking about fear. He was scared because his back's going out all the time. He said, "Well, when you were younger, why didn't you build work on your weaknesses?" And I guess this type of fear that for whatever reason, you know, kind of like, and then he goes and has back surgery, which I heard is always never fun. Doesn't guarantee anything. some of these people have to have multiple back surgeries and they're fucked up, and he's kind of going down that road. He's a good guy, but he just doesn't know how to take care of himself. Sorry, I made it pretty hot lemon ginger tea, so I always recommend sipping. It's good stuff, I'm off of the chai spice just for, excuse me, just for a little bit, just like lemon ginger, no special ingredient. I don't always put the saw palmetto in there. So I combine as I talk about areas. I did like shoulders with a little bit of forearm work, and thing is, they have the monkey bars, the parallel bars in my gym, and what I'll do is I like to do these pull-ups with your hands. I don't know if it's called pronated, whatever. Just not face forward or back, but to the side. Now there's a bar in the middle, so my hands are about this far away. So what I want to do is, and the bars are elevated, so of course, I climb up this thing so I can get on there, and I do 2 to the left. I don't get my head all the way in there, but like just about halfway, and then down, and then 2 to the right, and I'll do like a total of like 12 reps if I can do it. And I noticed that I warm up. I do my shoulder exercises first. Then I'll do some forearm reverse. I think they're Zottoman curls, but they're not seated. Just like reverse curl with they have an easy curl bar or a straight bar with like 30 or 40 pounds. It's enough. And that warm up my forearms, and then it'll be easier for me to pull up. So it's like you have to use common. You got to use common logic. None of these trainers ever talk about this. I haven't heard one. They all talk about exercise, how to perform exercises, but none of these guys really understand. I mean, there's experts in physiology, kinesiology, and stuff like that, and then personal trainers, but none of them, they don't. Well, maybe there's some that do, expert in calisthenics and stuff, but the understanding of what is tied to what when you're doing something. And I've never ever heard one guy saying, well, if you're doing, pull-ups with that type of angle, that you need to warm up your forearms, because even though like the work is going in your shoulders, but your arms are doing the work, are holding it, doing the actual work. So, I never heard one guy ever saying how, to talk about that, but I figured this thing out because I was doing shoulders one day. I said, yeah, having a hard time pulling myself up. I go, what's going on? I was getting a lot of pressure in my forearms. It's like you're not warming up your forearms before doing the exercise. The actual target area is warm, but not the thing that's pulling. Isn't that weird? Like you're pulling with your arms, but this is the shoulders are the target area when you're doing exercise. Really interesting. So and that's what it is. I like to get creative, but I try to hit muscles in unique ways, not necessarily as much weight as I can do. Like use a standard military press seated, is my first exercise, and then what I do is I reverse. I've seen Michael Hearn do this, where your chest is faced to the bench, not the bench, the fucking the back of the seat. You just turn around and you push up. With the handles are, they turn out, but so you can grab them from like in front of you like this instead of this way, and like push up. And it's like I put a lot of weight on there. I go as hard as I can. It's like 200 pounds or something. It's a lot for me. So I try to find creative ways to hit areas. So that was my afternoon workout, and I have a pair of sweats that I generally wear. I have a couple pairs, but there was one pair I really like. This Adidas pair. There's a fucking rip in my between the legs, and I guess from doing all the squats and stuff like that, I don't have gigantic fucking quads or anything like that. But when you're doing lots of hack squats and stuff, and shit stretches, shit can pull. So it started to rip a little bit. Like, and I said, it's not that big of a deal. And then I did like hack squats yesterday, and I know there's this gay guy. There's a lot of gay guys in my gym. Good like looking, and because every time I go deep on the hack squat thing, the fucking pants open up, and you can see my underwear through there, and the hole kept getting bigger and bigger. I mean, it was about like 2.5, 3 inches, a sizable amount yesterday. I said, I got to get these fixed. I can't, so I'm trying to do the exercise. I know the guy's looking. I could tell. He's watching every time I go. And I said, I'm trying to focus on the exercise, and God, if may God help me if something falls through there, no. So I took it to this, this tailor place, and they were very, very nice. This first place I went into, they wanted to charge me a lot, and they couldn't have it done by 3 or 4 days. I was like, ridiculous. It needs to be stitched. It could take a second. So I went to this place that was a block away, and lady goes, I could do it right now for like $3. So she did it like in 3 minutes. It was done. I gave her $5. I said thank you. So she I see. I felt like it was too good of a deal and too fast. I had to give a little more. It's like, and you know what? That's the way people should be. Like, now I'm no affluent guy or anything like that. But if you can give, man, and people remember that. You're for their immediate service, they fucking did it, man. That comfort that they did, $5. Boom, sweats were good. I wore them actually. Then I went to the gym a second time, and that's what I'm going to talk about. Then I went like during the 3 in the afternoon, and I was like, okay. And then I started typing up some schoolwork, and I said to myself, man, I could go in tonight. I could fucking do legs again. Different ways. Like, I don't always do. I always say, oh, it's a leg day, man. You don't understand. I do. My thinking process is, and I'm not saying I know everything of everything, but I look at it like this. Everybody breaks down upper body, like, and I haven't even mentioned it yet, like all the areas and how I train. But why can't you decompartmentalize leg day in many different ways? Not just saying, okay, well, I'm just going to do quads, or I'm going to do hamstrings and calf raises or something. I'm talking about the frequency. I'm talking about hitting different areas in a multitude of different ways. Now, what do you mean? It's not like, okay, well, I'm just going to do squats, or look, you understand, I do, I heard of this guy, like, I call him like the intelligent barbarian, but this guy's pretty smart on YouTube. And he said, take the fucking Olympic bar, the 45-pound bar, put it on your back and do 300 reps. Not all at once. He said do 100 at a time for 3 sets. It's 300 reps. And he goes, and then you talk to me about, you see the results, And I said, this is interesting. Because I said, your legs ain't going to respond. It's no weight. It's not going to respond. Boy, was I wrong. It will, because you see what happens is you're getting deep into the muscle fibers. You're not lifting. It's not like you're lifting a lot of weight, but the problem is that compression move, going down and up, like a squatting. It's with doesn't matter. Like it's like 45 pounds is arbitrary. It's irrelevant. The point is you're doing so many that is you're getting deep into those muscle fibers for them to react, for them to grow. And it's really, I think I talked about this before about the squat off between Dr. Fred Hatfield, who's recently he's deceased, squatted 1,000 pounds. It was like a world record, I think, at the time, against Tom Platz, the quad father, and he decimated Platz in the overall, like the weight amount, but Platz beat him in the reps, and Platz's legs were fucking, as they're immense compared to Fred Hatfield, that said he had itty bitty legs, but still, you can squat 1,000 pounds, and it's not like weak, like it's just he knows what he's doing. So it's not by accident. Okay, I guess everybody's legs can look itty bitty compared to what Tom Platz was at this time. Now you got guys that are shooting growth and tests and shit in their legs. So that of course not that big of a deal. But look at Tom Platz pictures in the fucking what was it, the '81 Olympia, 82, 83 or something. It's fucking huge. He would have won it if Franco wasn't Arnold's buddy. Tom Platz should have been a Mr. O one year. Over any Samir Banud, Chris Dickerson for sure. I can't. It just doesn't make any sense. But whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so I didn't even talk about like the frequency. So you don't have to do one thing or the other. Now, here's what I tried. I tried to do not tonight. Let me go back. So a couple weeks ago, I did what that guy said. I put the 45-pound bar on the Olympic bar on the back, and I went to it, and hitting like almost like 300 reps, right? Just about killed me, and it took me. I don't know how long it took, but I hit like whatever 255 reps, 275, whatever. He said, put on the clips. They don't weigh nothing, but just a little added weight and just keep going. Just keep grinding. So I said, I like the shorter bar. I like that, and so I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna experiment. I'm gonna do like, if I can do regular squats, why don't I do front squats with like. Now I'm very weak in the front squat, but the exercise it gives you. It doesn't matter, like if it will, you put it in, you will feel it, and if you feel it, you are getting. It's not like that damn leg press machine at that angle. Like these guys putting on 600 pounds or whatever, 5, 6 wheels, thinking they got like. I look at these guys like they got nothing, man. It's like, some of these guys got because they got some weight behind them. They got some height. That's genetic. They got no choice in how tall. They're born unless somebody gave them growth hormone when they were a little kid or something like that. I seen all these guys, like I'm 5'9", and I see these guys that got, they got like 6 inches on me. They're fucking tall and some mass, but no shape, like I know they're taking, or, it's just genetic, whatever, but they're not really bodybuilders. Like they don't understand the mechanics of that. I know, like of the variations and not the speed per se or the actual doing the exercise, but they don't know how. They're not like a student of it, like I am, or like I was. So anyway, like I took a smaller bar and I did a couple hundred reps with a front squat with like lighter weight. Then I did like 40 and 50 pound weights, whatever, it's already attached to the bar, it's welded on the bar. And I'll do like, I did another couple hundred reps, regular squats. And I was like, wow, it's a great way to do it. Now, again, that's for me, like, 10 sets with like 135 is like, fuck. I mean, it's, and you gotta wear a mask when you're doing this. It's very, very draining. So, I don't mind giving everything I have, but what I want is maximum results for maximum effort put in. Not just going through the motions. So, I do that. And then, you know, I go in the gym tonight, back there, and I say, okay, I'm going to do legs again. And I say, okay, well, so what? I can either do one or the other. I'm thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe what I could do is I could take the 45-pound bar, and I did like 50 reps. I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put like 10 pounds on each side. And it's like, so are you going to work your way up? And I said, no, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to see if I can crank out a couple hundred reps overall. Like, I did 50 with just the bar. So I put 10 pounds on each side. I did another 125 reps. I think it was up to like 175. If I count them, I keep cumulative total. Then I said, then I was like, I want to put another 5 pounds. That's it though. And I just kept going, and I got to I think like 250 reps or something like that, or 255 reps, and that was enough. My back, my lower back just really started hurting. Um, I don't know why. It's like just after once I do about 250 reps, my lower back starts kind of hurting. It goes away. It's fine now, but I feel like maybe it's kind of weird. Maybe I'm not doing. I haven't done hyperextensions in a while, so it strengthens a little. But I'm fine. It's weird. Like when I do um, deadlifts, no issues in the lower back, not at all. It's weird. It's just the when I do tons and tons of squats, then I feel something. Um, so my point of this was that when I left the gym, God, 2 workouts. I've done 2 workouts in a day. I think even one time I did 3 once or something like that in all my years. I've done 2 hundreds of times. I'm not exaggerating, hundreds of times. Um, but it's better to a guy like me that was used to just doing things that really didn't go anywhere, like going to bars, for hours and hours on end, or going to the casino and losing all my money. I guess the gym is kind of like, it's better in a sense that way, but it's like until I figure out like what else I can do. I mean, it's just I feel like at least I'm working on myself. I guess they say strong body, strong mind. The Greeks believe. Also, the Greeks believe when you strengthen your body, that you strengthen your mind. I think there's some type of truth to that. To discipline. It's not about really superficial per se as much as I like to build the best version of myself. I guess I could that's how I could sum it up. In my mind, like, I think of like Frank Zane, 5'9", 200 pounds, like the marble, the Adonis statue, the whatever Greek, kind of thing. Kind of like, I'm 177, I'm not 200 pounds, but it's like that's natural, like for me. Now I know he took a lot of stuff and everything, but I'm saying for like me, that's pretty badass in my mind. In my mind, how I think. Whatever your goal is, don't compare yourself to. It's good to be inspired by things, but try not to compare yourself to what you see. Guys that are taking who knows what. So as far as I didn't mention, as far as body parts, I'm not going to go through every exercise. It would take me too long to explain everything. But I generally train back and lats by themselves. Back is like lats, but I just call it that because I break down the areas of the back. It's not just back; it's back and lats. Um, Legs, I'll just train legs by themselves. Um, Shoulders and traps, but they're individual. Sometimes I'll do tries and traps. Sometimes I do shoulders and traps, chest, and I don't do, sometimes I'll do chest and traps. You know, I don't train buys individually, biceps. I don't. I feel like I get enough off of buys with kind of a generic 3/4 pull up. I don't even do straight curls. I don't do dumbbell curls or anything because 3/4 of the arm is tries. So I don't worry. Buys. I don't. My buys are not bad. Um, and then forearms. I'll do sometimes. I'll do like a couple different exercises for forearms, or I'll do like more of a forearm warm up with a reverse curl. It's the Ottoman one. I don't do the straight up curl. Just don't like it. And I don't do it. Too much of that swinging back movements, and it real just feel like I really get anything off of it. I do enough variations of pull ups that you're hitting all those areas anyway. So I look at it like that. I think that covers all the areas. I don't do generic shrugs for traps. I get nothing off that. I got like really creative with some of these exercises. I was like, wow, I noticed separation between my traps and my shoulders because of unique creative exercises. Here, I'll give you one of them right now. You take straight bar, not an Olympic bar. It's too long. Shorter one with lightweight, 20, 30 pounds. 30. I do it with 30. So if you're really strong, go a little heavier. Whole thing is get that thing out just about in front of you, a little low towards like not parallel, but to your waist, and just get it up to about right here, not all the way up like you're gonna press it. Point it out, and then down, and just up and down with your hands out. You'll feel it in your traps. Then what I'll do is I'll take a heavier bar, the ones that have their weights already welded on. Something fairly heavy, 80, 90, 100 pounds, whatever. And I'll get my hands up. I'll put the bar, I'll lay it between my legs. And then I'll bend over, kind of like you're going to do a T-bar row. But you just take it with one hand, with your head out. Your other opposite hand, like on your quad or something. You're bending your knees and you pull the bar into your chest. And I do like 20, 22 reps on one side, and then immediately jump on and do the other side. You'll feel it in your traps. You're hitting it at a unique angle. Now I've seen shrugs behind the net, behind the back and stuff. I've done all that shit. I didn't really get nothing good because I'm not that strong as far as holding heavy weights and stuff. And I just don't look. I've experimented with volume with that, and I didn't really get that much. I tried these unique exercises, and I started getting whoa. I started to notice better development. So everybody is different, but everybody's the same. So try to find out, experiment with unique exercises and put your ego aside. Forget about how much you're lifting and focus on development. I know it's hard. Look, I do this hack squat machine. I start with just the machine. I put 25 pounds on each side. I know people do that. He's doing nothing. He's doing nothing. Yeah, the fucking development. I don't have to show them, but I look at my legs when in my apartment, whatever I put down. I said, holy shit. I can see all the separation, the muscles. Like now I'm not tanned or anything for a stage, but it's for somebody fairly like natural. Now I take some stuff, but nothing like anabolics, hardcore shit stuff over the counter. Amazon, you get this stuff. Not even it's like just anabolic activator. nothing. It's you know, it's like not even comparing, you know. So I said, well, you know, you're not natural. If you take anything, you're not natural, whatever. Okay, so I'm not natural, whatever. But my point is the results. I mean, put your ego, you know, I know, like, I seen this one guy, he didn't look like really anything. He had on the Smith machine. He was squatting with, my God, he had 315 and then he had 385 on there. Now I was looking at his, he almost went down the parallel. Then he did like 3 or 4 reps or something. But I look at his legs, they weren't fucking big as fuck. They were, you know, nothing special. Like maybe he was taking something that he could hold that much weight on there. You know, it's very impressive. I've never attempted that in all my years. That you know, but again, you know, I'm trying to focus on development and put that ego outside. It would be the strongest person in the gym kind of thing. It doesn't fucking matter. You know, it's not the biggest is not the strongest for the most part. It's not. You know, it's for me. It's really I want like development. You know, I want to fill out everything possible. That's a student of learning. You know, and not this ego thing where you're trying to show people, wow, look how much I can do. You know, lifting. You know, I know it's very easy to get caught up in this type of like think you're the man in the gym, like I'm the master and everybody else is beneath me kind of mentality. But you know, it's this is the wrong way. It's the wrong way of thinking. You know, it's you don't need to show anybody. You don't need to put people down there. It's not. There's no hierarchy of you know the strongest, the best. I'm the king of this place, and I'm the ruler. It's not. It doesn't work that way. It's not the biggest. They get all the women kind of thing. You got to put this fallacy and this fantasy out of your mind. It doesn't. It doesn't. Or else you're gonna wind up spinning your wheels. It's like I see some of these people in the gym, and they just don't know what they're doing. Like, and you know, I don't care. Maybe it's just their therapy to go to the gym and just sit there and do like bicep work. You know, yeah, no other. They don't even really have a good bicep. They're sitting there just going, like, you know, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, they're just not educated. You know, it's like my friend I talked about that didn't know. They're sitting there just going like this, you know, or whatever, trying to do variety of bicep work, and you know, they don't have a complete body. You know, they don't. I mean, there's a saying that says you can count on one hand. You can go to any gym, you can count on one hand how many people have really good legs, really fucking developed, because it is hard as fuck. And it's hard as fuck for 2 reasons. Number one is because of the work, the creativity, the work, and the sheer volume that, you know, your quads are the biggest muscle group in your lower body. And it takes everything out of you more than anything to develop, you know, like your legs to the fullest potential. Um, it just does, you know. Like, look, I experiment, like I just said, you know, like with light, with heavy, and then with light, with moderately more. Like I use a variety of different things, man. A variety. You know, let's say, okay, let me try this. Let me see what this does. Let me see what this does. Let me see how this machine is going to react. I was on a hack squat. I told you I moved my feet up and I lowered the distance of travel, you know, because I felt, you know, let me cut down this distance, you know, like so I can put more pressure on this area. Like that's what fuck how much weight you're lifting on a machine. You're not, you know, it's not powerlifting machine, you know, like you want to fucking see how much you can lift, do fucking a flat bench or a military press or you know not on a machine free or a deadlift with just the, you know the fucking Olympic bar load up on that weight. You know if you want to see how much you can lift, don't put fucking 2,000 pounds on a leg press machine and so I push the whole machine. Wow. Or fucking on a hack squat machine. Why do you don't if it was a powerlifting competition, how come they don't have machines at any of these things? Because that machines are not designed for that. They're not designed for that. They're designed for development. They're not designed for fucking seeing how much you can leverage. They have, some of these Nautilus type machines. The military press go up to like 280 pounds or whatever. The bench press goes up to the guy pushed the whole machine, one rep or a couple reps. Wow, yeah, it's a machine, dude. It's not a fucking, it's not pushing, a brute weight. You're not moving. So, some of these people, they're clowns. They just don't, they don't know any better. It's nice to see these people. They're just not. I can lift the whole machine. Yeah, and then I look at what they look like. They don't look like nothing. Of course, they don't look like nothing. I mean, they have because you know, it's. I mean, they got a little bit of strength, of course, to be able to push all that, but it's not real. It's delusional lifting. It's not. It's nothing special. Like you're not impressing me. You fooling other people. Whatever. I seen this one guy come in with this chick, and she was recording him, and I was doing, I forget, I was doing really light squats. I couldn't, and this one guy was in the power cage, and he's putting on all these 45s, and I'm looking at this guy. He didn't look like he was jacked or anything. He looked like kind of average plus maybe, and he put on, let's see, 225, 315, 405, 495, 585. He had 6 wheels on each side. And I said, all right, I'm going to stop what I'm doing now because this guy's got my attention. He had 6 fucking wheels, I think, at least 5, but I think 6. I mean, I go, I have got to see this. So his girlfriend's recording him. I said, I have got to fucking see this. He puts the bar on his back. He steps back. And I'm saying, let's see what he's going to do. And I think he did a couple half reps, little like, that's nothing. He's not going to look. I told you I put 315 on my back, and I just kind of moved it around a little bit, but I didn't. And that's what that guy did for like a second, and then he dropped it, behind him, on the safety pins. I'm surprised it didn't shake the whole gym to the core. I mean, I've never seen anybody, but he had it on his back. He held it on his back. He had the 585, I think, there are at least 500 pounds on his back. It was impressive, And I looked at this guy. I said, this guy, Now again, I'm only 170. I think maybe I was 175 at that time. I don't know. But I size myself up to these. I see these people like I'm saying. I said, Mike, but that is, yeah, I guess that's like saying you carry a refrigerator on your back. I mean, I give it up to anybody that could put 500 pounds on their fucking back. Like and hold it. That's quite impressive in my mind. I mean, that's like, but I don't know what the thing was. Like she was recording it. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a huge difference than putting 2,000 pounds on a sled. Like that's like machine leverage momentum. I mean, it's yeah, you push, but you put that 500 pounds on your back. I mean, there's no, when you step back, you're holding that fucking weight. I mean, that's real. That's, that's another story. Like, there's a huge, huge difference even between squatting 315 raw or putting 2,000 pounds on a leg press machine. There's an immense difference. So, because I look around in my gym, I want to see like who's, not look around, I don't walk around, but I can see it. Once I see somebody put 3 wheels on there, they get my attention because I don't see it in my gym very often. It's a fucking lot, you know. Yeah, it's not for extremely powerful. Man, I'm there for me. I'm there to focus on myself. Just let me discuss this before a couple things. things before I end the episode. I want to talk about two things. So I was coming home from the gym at night, and I'm walking down. I have my route, the residential area, and there's a guy. This is tonight. This is last night, and let's just say I'm on the right side of the sidewalk, and there's a guy cutting a beeline at me, on the other side of the sidewalk, walking diagonal toward me. And then he's like this kind of middle-aged Hispanic guy. But he goes to me, he's walking like at me. He goes, "How's it going?" Like he's coming at me. "How's it going?" Now it's 11 o'clock at night or something like that. Now I give him a real hard death stare. As I'm walking, like, and I don't say nothing, because I just didn't like. It wasn't like he was, it's just an odd angle when somebody walks at you. And that's why I call this episode. Listen, I don't give a fuck what society thinks is like, oh, hey, you got to hold your ground and your defenses when something odd and strange doesn't sit well with you, okay? And so, oh, you racial profiling the blacks or whatever. I don't care. I don't care, okay? On that street, I was chased at gunpoint when I was 31, okay? It's supposed to be a safe area and everything like that, but let me tell you something. I keep my defenses up. My guard is up at night, especially. Just the way that guy is, I was gonna say, what the, I didn't want to engage him. I didn't want to give, because you don't want to give these people information. What you want to do is hold your ground and let them know that they're, without you saying anything, like, hey, like, you're going to try something on me, you are going to be in a world of hurt, like, without saying it. And then he walked by, goes, "Oh, bodybuilder," or something like that. I didn't care. I didn't care about that at that point, because I don't want anybody to try to jump me, or try to jack me, or try to do anything, or try to hurt me. And it's like, just odd behavior needs to be, anybody does anything, they need to be pulled out into the light, get a big spotlight on those people. And, the people, they hate that kind of shit, I don't know what that guy's intention, like, I have a good sense, of somebody that's like, trying to possibly do something. And this was one of those kind of guys. This was like a kind of a lower life person walking. I don't think he lives in the area, because I see my route. I see the same people all the time. Like people that live in that area. They know where they're going. They don't do odd. They don't walk at you in the middle of the street. Walk at somebody. Like, look, I wouldn't if I saw a woman. I take their safety into consideration. Like, if I see them if I need to cross and get to a point on the other side of the sidewalk, that's my direction, and there's a chick like by herself, what I do is I give her plenty of space. Like, I don't allow my destination, like, because it's rude, like, it's rude to walk at somebody. You see what I mean? It's not like on the sidewalk, like, somebody walking toward you. No, this guy's like cutting a beeline, like in the street, like a diagonal toward you. Like, it's an odd, like, coming right at you. Like, why are you fucking walking right at me? Kind of thing. And that odd type, behavior, is like, I look at those people and say, hey, dude, you better not come at me. I will fucking, defend myself. It's besides, oh, you should be nicer. Hey, there's a lot of dangerous shit going on, man. There's a lot of dangerous fucking shit. And my safety is concerned, that's my safety. I don't give a fuck what society thinks. It's about your safety. It's number one, period. End of story. Okay, one last thing I want to talk about. So I said I went and I got a new mattress. I threw out the old one because of bed bugs. And it's smaller, it's like, damn, it's not as comfortable as my old mattress. And I started to think about this. Started to think about this. I think as people get these giant beds, comfortable. And I want you to think about this. I know I've said this a couple times already, but when you're in bed and it's so comfortable and you got to get up, it's very, very difficult. Now, I'm not saying that you should sleep on the floor. I'm not saying, you can't, but my point is that, like in the military, you sleep on a cot, like they have in the barracks, whatever, they just have these cots. It's comfortable enough. And that's what I think is really important, because if it's too comfortable, like, it kind of like makes it more difficult, because life is not supposed to be so comfortable. Now, again, I'm not saying sleep on the fucking, floor or something like that, but maybe like you don't need such an, this unbelievably comfortable bed, like it's unnecessary. It's like easier to get up, like when, the bed, it serves its purpose. You lay down, you sleep. And then, like, when you get up, it makes it easier, because, like, yeah, okay, fine, I can get up now. And I thought about that. Like, this mattress, it's mattress, yeah, it's doesn't really have a lot of really good cushion, and it could be a little bigger, But I want you to think about, I want you to think about that. Why do I need such an incredibly comfortable bed? Why? Because it just makes it harder for me to get out of, like, when I need to get up. I bet nobody's ever talked about that. Why would they? Because, the people that are in the business of selling mattresses, they try to sell comfort. Yeah, you know what? Nobody ever taught me about the real world and life when I was a kid. Nobody ever told me how hard it is, how uncomfortable it is. Nobody taught me anything. I had to learn it all on my own. They get comfortable being uncomfortable. No, I mean, it's like your bed should be comfortable enough that you can sleep in. But not where it's like this fucking, you know ridiculous thing that I see most people have. This giant, this thing that, and those blankets. It's so difficult, to get out of it. And I know, because like a real comfortable bed, it's very difficult for me to get up out of. I want to stay in there, and I you can't. How can you do shit when you're sleeping all the time? I know I like to sleep too. But too much. It's like you sleep your whole life away. You can't. You know, it's just these most of these people in in this area here, they're kind of pansies. Really sorry to say that, but in my gym, most of them are pansies. They're those machines. They're built for comfort. Because it's hard. Think about this. Before the advent of machines, if you go back to like even before the 70s, there's dumbbells and barbells. They had a pulley. They had the pulley system. I think that I almost said Arthur Jones created. Arthur Jones created novelist on this thing, but Eugene Sandow, the pulley, those things are attached to the wall, the pulley kind of thing, but the machines came out, whatever, like universal machines that they had with the with the pin you put in the plate. Later, the disc loading plates thing came about, and then the Nautilus lines and stuff, the hammer strengths and whatever. I remember it all. I know all this shit. But it, the ideal is, it's just, you know, I mean, it is pushing resistance. I mean, I do get that, because it's hard to balance. Think about that Olympic bar, push it up over your head. I mean, it's put real weights on there. It's really hard. Instead, you could sit down on a military press machine and just push it. A lot of people utilize the rope pull down for tricep exercises. I warm up with that. I don't even warm up with it. I warm up with other way before way before I get to that. And I use that rope for over the head. But that's not my meat and potatoes. My meat and potatoes is a Smith machine for closed grip bench press. Because I can load on that, I can load up, like whatever, and get to like 225. That puts a lot of fucking pressure on your tries. And I know people do weighted dips with the tries thing. I did that years ago. That has its place. But at my age, I'm not looking to fuck up my joints, and I'm not trying to show off anything. You know, I do my variety exercises. It hits the muscle belly fibers enough, and that's enough for me. I will experiment with unique exercises for like traps and stuff and certain other areas because like they're kind of intricate muscles that need to be hit from certain angles, and so I'll experiment with that. Otherwise, just like the whole leg work, from the knee to your hip or whatever, the whole quad, ham, side sweep, everything. I'll look for ways to kind of get in there, do a variety of different, extensions. Leg extensions done properly, they have their place. They have their place, but it is not the mass gainer. I read that in a book. Still is important. It's a grind. It's the way. It's you got to be willing with anything in life. It's like you got to be willing to grind it out. And don't worry, like, it's because, well, I'm not as strong as I used to be last week. What's going on? What's going on here? Am I losing? People weigh themselves methodically? Oh my God, I was 177. Now I'm 174. Or they get sick, they get a cold, they go, oh my God, I'm 169. It's all my gains are gone. All my gains are gone. It's not gone. It's not gone. Even if you take a week off of lifting, it's not gone. All that muscle is dormant. It's just not. You might not look because you're not pumped up, but it's there. It's not going away because you don't work out for a week. Now you should try to eat, continually, like and stay with your, a week is a fairly long time not to do any exercise. I don't, if you're not working out for a week, that's some time. But look, I've taken a couple. I take 3, 4 days off. I've done it before, and I got sick. I lost uh, like 4 pounds, 5 pounds. It was like what, you know. But that shit comes back. Once I feel better, I start feel like eating again, and the weight will come back. So muscle, it's there. I know something. Your mind is like playing tricks on you. So, oh my God, believe me, if you're putting in the work, it's there. It it's also you gotta understand too in clothes. Clothes can make you look, depending on what you're wearing, can make you look like, you know, it all can be hidden. Believe me, I know. Then I have more form-fitting shirts that make me look like, you know, I'm a bodybuilding competitor, you know, in a light heavyweight division or something. It depends. I mean, it's you know, it depends what you're wearing, you know, and it depends also, like, you know, if it's cold outside for me. Now I know these guys are taking anabolics, you know, they see the jacked up all the time, veins coming, like, doesn't matter if it's because they're on some hardcore anabolics. I'm not. So, you know, I'm not pumped up when it's cold outside. I don't feel like I look big, you know. Now when it's warmer, you know, it's sunny, you know, and then, you know, like for some, I think like I get decent vascularity, you know, like for whatever reason. Maybe it's because the blood is warm or something. Um, it just depends, you know, like, and try not to, it's weird, like, because you should take your workout seriously, but it's good if it's not your whole life because you need to have some balance, like some other things going on in anything. If you put your whole life into something that really can't become and you never do, then what do you have? You know, like it's look, man, I chased a lot of passions in my life, a lot. And it's all over, just about. It's all over at this point. And the working out thing, you know, I still have some pipe dreams that I might give one last thing at. I'm a 48. So if I'm going to try this, I'm going to give it one last run. I'm not going to talk about it right now because it's just not worth it. But, you know, and even if I don't, I still have all the effort from working out, you know, like all the, it wasn't a waste, okay? And plus, I'm working on my doctorate, you know, that's, it's not saying more important, but, you know, you gotta have something like a little balance, you know, small business or something, you know, day business or something like you can't just your whole life is the gym. I mean, that's like where's that gonna take you? You know, it would be the best built person walking around in the gym. Who fucking cares? Nobody's gonna scout you. No one talent agent's gonna come up to you with, you know, I want you in the magazines. It's like, no, no. Very few people can do that. Very, very, very few. Okay. Nobody. Nobody has ever come up to me and offered me a movie role or video. Nothing, nothing. And I live right in the middle of all of this shit because it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. Anyway, we covered a lot of good stuff today. So hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you came away with something I always do. And to these idiots that keep putting stuff in this fucking in my top chat, you guys are idiots. You need to watch, listen, and learn, and stop trying to sell whatever it is your fucking thing is. It's not going to happen. Stop wasting your time and start learning from somebody who's been around